This episode of the Capital G Show has been brought to you by the absolutely free-to-play Dungeons & Dragons Neverwinter. If you like D&D or you just happen to like action RPG games like Diablo, League of Legends, or Dota, I think that this game is definitely worth checking out. The link is in the description. You'll probably have a good time. What's up YouTube, Capital G here, doing a ban list discussion video, and you guys know I really don't like to do ban list predictions because trying to predict Konami is like pretty much impossible as far as what they're going to do on the ban list, especially considering that now they're starting to errata things that were banned, and it's like, are they bringing these back? You know, they're releasing new heroes, which leads me to believe that they're going to unban Stratos, so obviously they're doing a bunch of loopy shit that makes me think that the ban list will not be anything like what anybody anticipates. These are just what I would like to see because I played a ton this format. I think I'm in the top 25 on Dueling Network right this second out of everybody who plays on DM. And, you know, I really love this format. Like, this is probably, in my opinion, like the best, most balanced format we've had in like 2 years. Like, I really don't feel like there's any deck out there that just completely every turn does OP shit and just like you have to play this deck and they always get their setup. Like, I feel like every deck is like really combo based and they kind of rely on their combo pieces. Their setups are all kind of easy to crack, you know what I mean? Alright, so ban cards, all the elemental dragons, all the dragon rulers, I would like to see them all gone. I mean, I feel like everybody has had their party and left. I mean, the show's over. They were broke as fuck when they were at 3. They were still super broken when they were at 2. Even at 1, I feel like they're incredibly overpowered. The obvious, the one that gets the most attention is Title. He's a superstar because he's played in Mermill. I mean, he just has like probably the best overall effect because you can dump shit into the graveyard from your hand, and he sets up the Gundy plays, he can trigger Mermail cards, but I treat them all the same. You know, I feel like just at their core, they were never going to be healthy cards. I predicted that all they would be is just OTK tools, and while I was wrong at that, I wasn't completely wrong. I also think that the Dragon Rulers have just they've left so much collateral damage, haven't they, since they came out? Like Dragon's Ravine, Super Rejuvenation, Gold Sarcophagus, like all of those cards were collateral damage of these things being released. Next ban card, Evil Swarm Exciton Knight. Like, this is just one of those whoops cards. I mean, they were probably thinking, like a lot of people, like, oh, it's just going to be like an XC version of Black Rose Dragon. And it's like, except it doesn't die with its effect, and you can use that effect twice, and it's way easier to make. It's one of the worst card designs I've seen in a long time. Like, every time somebody you shouldn't lose your entire board because you activate a Tenki and play a monster, and it's like, oops, I have one more card than you. Exciton Knight the field and just blow everything the fuck up. Like, Exciton Knight is one of those cards where we just need to forget about it. We need to forget like it was ever printed because it was clearly a mistake. Limited to 1, Element Hero Stratos. It's time. You know, I think that it would make heroes playable again. I don't really see anything OP with it. Not even with a Hero Lives. I really just don't see anything overpowered with Stratos. It would make, you know, heroes actually like a decent deck again. I don't even think that they would be like tier 1 because Bujin just is a far superior control deck. GigantX. I've actually seen some people saying that this card is ban worthy. I don't know if I want to go that far, but I mean, how many Xyzs do you know instantly pay for themselves when they use their effect, and then when they die, they pay for themselves with another monster on top of that? Like, and the thing about GigantX is like, why the fuck can he search all level 4 or lower machines? I mean, like, wouldn't the card have been just as good if you could just only search Geargia monsters? You know what I mean? Like, do you really need to be able to search shit like Karkar D and Cyberstein and Birdman? Like, I feel like this card is just, it's one of the most, probably the strongest rank 4 XC in the game right now. It just has way too much utility. It has really great stats. And then again, when it dies, it replaces itself. When you summon it, it replaces itself. The card just does too much. Rekindling. I think Rekindling needs to go to 1. It's a stupid card. It probably should be banned. I feel like maybe the only reason it shouldn't be banned is because the limited limited card pool that the card relies on. So I'm thinking maybe 1 is okay. Abyssphere, I think that we definitely need to copy the OCG. I thought that Abyssphere would have gotten limited last format. It's probably the most unfair card in the entire Mermail deck. Like, they tried to give it a drawback, you know, that your monster dies during the end phase, but then everybody realized, like, wait a minute, that's not really worth a shit because they have a monster that when it dies, it summons the entire deck. So it was really easy to circumvent that drawback. I mean, summon Lindy and then get whatever the hell you want. You can combo if you need to. You can grab beaters if you need that. You can grab defense. I mean, it just, I really think that Abyssphere needs to go to 1. Dragons, Ravine, with no more idiotic level discard fodder like the, elemental dragons, I think that Dragoonity just goes back to being a pretty good deck. I mean, there's no longer just an insane way to generate advantage with little cost and being able to tutor everything in your entire deck, dumping Dragon Rulers from the deck to the graveyard. I mean, the deck would, or Dragoonity would pretty much have to go back to relying on tricks like, Zephyros the Elite to make any type of advantage out of Dragon's Ravine. I really don't think that this card should be banned right now. I feel like the only reason it's banned is because of Dragon Rulers. Like, I feel like Dragon Rulers and Dragon's Ravine cannot coexist at the same time, so something has to give. Next up, Geargiaccelorator. This is just, if this isn't the most shitty overextension card that just helps you OTK with Karakuris, I don't know what is. Like, it was already good enough considering that every single Geargia that they've ever fucking printed searches this card, it seems like. But when it dies, it replaces itself too. Like, what was Konami thinking when they made Geargia? It's like every single thing searches for another thing, and then when they die, they all just replace themselves. I think Geargiaccelorator is just one of those stupid overextension cards, and when Geargia Angler comes out, it's just going to get even worse. And that's all anybody ever searches from GigantX, and you can get the damn thing back from the graveyard. It's too OP in my opinion. Next up, Drag Down from the Grave. This is one of those shitty degenerative cards that lets your opponent see your hand and then basically just get rid of your best card. And I'm pretty sure every other spell that you can think of that has that description, things like Confiscation, Forceful Sentry, I mean, they're pretty much banned, right? So I don't feel like Drag Down is just a healthy card. And then last for my limited cards, Coach, is it Coach Soldier Wolfbark? You guys know, Wolfbark. Outside of Wolfbark, I don't feel like anything in Firefist is really broken. Like people say Bear is like OP, but Bear is the entire deck. Like if you limit Bear, you might as well just ban the whole deck, because if your Bear gets bottomless, you just scoop it up. Like Wolfbark is the one card where I guess it's like you just summon it and then you can make King Tiger, and then you can get Tinky, and then you can get another Wolfbark, and it's like you kind of have like an endless supply of rank 4 summons. You know what I mean? Wolfbark is kind of like your all-in-one card. If you need to nuke the field, you Exciton Knight. If you need to snatch steal an opponent's Exceed, you go into Honor Knight. It's like that card that kind of answers everything, and maybe the deck has a little too much of that. I feel like Wolfbark at 1, it would still make all the fire decks still really amazing. Players would just have to be a little smarter. I mean, you wouldn't be able to kind of, King Tiger and hold that Wolfbark over your opponent like, yeah, whatever the fuck you do, I've got a rank 4 Exceed to counter it. You know what I mean? I think that you'd have that one Wolfbark, you'd have to play a little smarter, and I actually hate the interaction that Wolfbark has with Fire Kings more than anything. Like, it has worse interaction with that than it does with, with the Firefist monsters. My semi-limited list, Neo Grand Mole, I don't understand why this card is at 1. I think in the OCG it's like at 3, so we can definitely put it at 2. And for my unlimited, I've got the Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars. There are no longer any Dragon Rulers under my imaginary list, so I really don't see a problem for this card being unlimited. So let me know what you guys think. My semi-limits and unlimiteds are very small because, again, I feel like this format is really good. Obviously, I'd probably want to make some notes on here once the artifacts come out. But as of right now, I feel like this is one of the best formats we've had in a very long time. And outside of like GeargiantX and Abyssphere, I really don't have much problems in this format. Even if Wolfbark was still at 2 or 3, I really don't feel like that would be incredibly OP. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching. If I missed any cards, just leave those on in the comment section. And take care. Subscribing makes life happy.